constructive evaluations. I promise to help the club, Pecten, to maintain positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow. I promise to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, and to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, and to bring guests to our club meetings to see, so that they can see the benefits of Toastmasters, the benefits that Toastmasters membership offers. I promise to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmaster education and recognition programs. And finally, I promise to act within Toastmasters' core values of integrity and respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. Then very quickly, I would want to also look also at the Toastmasters, our club mission, which is also part of what we're here to do, the mission of this club. The club mission, Pecten Toastmasters, is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, in which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished Toastmasters, you are welcome to distinguished Toastmasters and guests. You are welcome to today's wonderful meeting, and it's going to be a splendid time for you. So I'd want you to, at this point, I would want to call on our wonderful president, TM Tari, for the opening speech. Please, the floor is yours, Madam President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mufti. Good evening, everyone. My name is Toastmaster Icebreaker, and I will be speaking on behalf of our president, Toastmaster Tari. Welcome to Pecten Toastmasters Club. And today we will be meeting with a theme called peace. When you hear peace, what comes to your mind? For a lot of people, I remember one of my favorite pop culture icons who says that he is not a man of peace, but a man of war and violence. However, I know that in Toastmasters, we will keep teaching each other how to connect, communicate, and lead peacefully. As written in our agenda, there's a lovely quote by Carlos Santana that says, "The most valuable possession you can own is an open heart. The most powerful weapon you can be is an instrument of peace." As we go about this meeting and even our lives, let us learn or let us plan and prepare on how to become that weapon, that instrument of peace. Let us navigate our personal and professional minds with a very open heart, because it's the most valuable possession we have. So may we be peaceful, may this meeting be filled with harmony, and I look forward to an amazing meeting today. Thank you. I'm going to clap for myself in case other people forget to clap for me. So today, for this meeting, I will be introducing our Toastmaster of the day. Our Toastmaster of the day is an engineer. He's the Sergeant at Arms for Pecten Toastmasters Club and currently on the Presentation Mastery pathway. He loves traveling, reading, and volunteering. His favorite quote is from renowned philosopher Aristotle, and it goes thus: "Man, know thyself." Please put your hands together as I welcome my Toastmaster of the day, our Toastmaster of the day, a man of peace, I hope, Toastmaster Mufti Igor.
Thank you very much, Madam Essie, TM Essie. I was almost carried away by what you were saying. It was as if you shouldn't stop. So beautifully today, I'm privileged, Toastmasters and guests, to be your table topics master. I'll be steering the ship peacefully. And without much ado, I'm going to be, there's someone else who would also be helping us to make sure that this ship steers peacefully in the waters of while we're trying to move along. Without much ado, there's someone that would be the general evaluator for this meeting, and it's none other than TM Agolo Josephine. She's an entrepreneur. She's on a dynamic leadership pathway with Victoria Bay, Lento and Victoria Bay Toastmasters Club. She's the secretary and the VP membership. And her hobbies are shopping, cooking, and listening to conscious lyrics. And her favorite quote, very interesting. He said, "Nothing good comes easy." The favorite one about her is not there. She's the lady in red. She does everything. Red cars, red everything. So Lady in Red, you're welcome. I'm excited to have you to be the general evaluator here. So the table is yours. The red carpet is yours now, which is in the vector length. So please, a round of applause as we welcome TM Josephine to the vector lecture.
Thank you very kindly, our Toastmaster of the day, for the warmth of your welcome. Thank you very much. I am super grateful. That was a peaceful one. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. Good evening. If the role players, I can see the role players already on my screen, which I love. I want to ask for something else. Our Zoom master, if the profile can also be shared, I would really love it. Is that possible, our Zoom master?
Yes, you can. Kindly hold on, please.
Okay, you help me share that, right? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Yes, I'm trying to do that right away.
Thank you very much. Yes, you are such a peaceful woman. Going to make my job very easy today. Thank you. Yes, my role for today is the general evaluator. What does this role entail? This role entails that I look out for everything we are going to be doing from the beginning of this meeting to the end of this meeting. I will try to ensure that I take notice of those things that we are doing well and those things that we need to improve upon. And I will be coming back with my team to give us report of how well we have fared in today's meeting. And I won't be doing this alone. I have a team of seasoned Toastmasters who will be doing this along with me to ensure that we have a peaceful session today. And the first person on my list is the timer. Like they said, time and tide wait for no man. For us to keep track record of time we're going to be using here, we'll be needing our timer. And who is our timer? Our timer is my favorite person. She is a writer, a professional enjoyment baby girl. You can see that from the cap of her head, even to the toe of her feet. Currently, she works as a business advisor with the occupational health in SPDC. Her hobbies are reading, eating free delicious food, and exploring creative works. She's on the pathway of innovative planning. She's the Vice President, Education of Pecten, Toastmasters Club, Port Harcourt. Our favorite quote is, examine the label you apply to yourself. Every label is a boundary or limit you will let yourself cross. These are the quotes of Winnie Dyer. Join me if your hands are not too busy. As a welcome, the enjoyment lady, our timer, Toastmaster Essay.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and good evening, everyone. Today, I will be using timing cards and the chat box to control timing part of today's meeting. Timing is very important because respect for time means respect for people. I will be using the chat box to indicate when your speech has qualified. The green, as shown right now, means that your speech is qualified. When you see yellow, that means you should start preparing to round up your speech. And when you see red, that does not mean you should immediately leave the stage, but it gives you an extra grace of 30 seconds. For the table topic section, at the 1 minute mark, all speeches are qualified. at 1 minute 30 seconds. It means they should start rounding up. And by the 2 minute mark, they have a 30-second grace period to finish their speech. There are 2 manual speeches today. The first is an icebreaker speech that would be for 4 to 6 minutes. So at the 4 minute mark, I would show my green indicators. At the 5 minute mark, I would show yellow. And at the 6 minute mark, I would show red. The second manual speech is slated for 5 to 7 minutes. Just again, I would use 5 minutes to be indicated by green, 6 minutes to be indicated by yellow, and 7 minutes to be indicated with the red prompts. Please let us ensure to stay within time as we enjoy today's meeting. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Timer, for that very succinct explanation of your role. That was super, super peaceful. And I ensure that we all keep our eyes on the clock, just so that we make use of the time. We don't overshoot our time here. Our next role player is the R counter. The R counter is, I see the person as a police. This person will ensure we try to count all of our R's, M's. You try not to ensure that you don't make those mistakes. And the person that will be playing this role for us today is an engineer. He's on the pathways of innovative planning. He likes to watch sports, and his favorite quote is, "With God is great." Join me as I welcome our policeman for today's meeting, Toastmaster Emmanuel.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, for that very warm introduction. Please confirm you can see and hear me.
I can see you and I can hear you.
Thank you very much. The General Evaluator has described my role as that of a policeman. Don't worry, I will not be a violent policeman today. I'll be a very peaceful policeman today. As an accountant, my role today is to watch out for the pulse fillers. Have you ever listened to a very interesting speech, riddled with a lot of so well? If you agree with me, it takes away from the quality of your speech. Today, my role is to watch out for these pause fillers. Filler words like and, so, well, and pause fillers like on. At the end of the meeting, or whenever I'm called upon, I will be back to give a report on that. In addition to that, I'm also going to be your listening evaluator for today. Again, have you ever attended maybe a seminar, a lecture, and you come out and people are recalling what was said, and you are wondering, was I in the same event as these people? To help you to develop your active listening skills, I'm going to be testing you at the end of the meeting or whenever I'm called upon, based on the events that will happen throughout this meeting. I will encourage you to be attentive, as there's going to be a very wonderful reward for those who will remember the event or the questions I'll be asking at the end of the meeting. Thank you, and over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you most graciously, our counter. I love the enthusiasm that you use to explain your role. So much smiles. You're such a peaceful person. Thank you very much, our counter. Our next role player for today is the grammarian. The grammarian is also known as the person that will be giving us how to pronounce the word of the day correctly and help us to, it's like I'm already explaining the role of the grammarian. Our grammarian is a graduate of mass communication. This role just fits this person from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka. She's a writer and an international relations enthusiast. She is a feminist and advocate for respect among humans. She's the current VPE for OES Toastmasters Club. I think this person is my friend. She must be my friend. She's very passionate about the English language. Yes, This is a good fit. I'm trying to find the name. I'm very sure she's my friend. Azuma. Okay. Yes, she's no other than Toastmaster Angelica. Yes, I said she's my friend. You may now have the virtual lecture. Angelica.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Thank you
Good
very much,
evening.
TM Josephine. Thank you very much, TM Josephine, for that warm introduction. And yes, you already started to explain the job of the grammarian. I wish you had finished, but I'll take it from there. So my role in today's meeting is grammarian, and I'm supposed to present us with a word of the day, explain how that word will be used, and take note of our usage of that word throughout the meeting. In addition to that, I'm also going to be paying attention to general grammar usage by everyone in the meeting, and any corrections or suggestions or comments that I have, generally my report will be given at the end of the meeting. So let's look at the word of the day that the Zoom master is already projecting for us. It's limpid. It's an adjective. It means something completely clear and transparent, or something or someplace absolutely serene or untroubled. Examples of limpid in a sentence: because the sky was not limpid, we could not see the stars. Her eyes were so limpid. We could see into the building because of its limpid windows. Synonyms for the word limpid are calm, cool, smooth, tranquil, peaceful, serene. So I hope that we try to inject this word into all of our communication today. Thank you so much, TM Josephine. The virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you very kindly, our grammarian. I must say that in the explanation of your role, you were very limpid, that I could hear every consonant in the word limpid. Yes, I hope today that our meeting is going to be limpid. And I think that all of my role players have come to explain to us what their roles entail. And by the end of the meeting, by the end of everything that will be going on today, we are going to come back to give you feedback of how well we have fared in today's meeting. And I'm sure it is going to be limpid, as I will be handing over to our Toastmaster of the day, our limpid TMOD, Toastmaster Marty.
Thank you, Madam in red. I was almost carried away by how limpid you spoke, quite clear and succinct too. Now, without much ado, we're coming to that session where I enjoy a lot, the table topics session. I'm going to be introducing, to take us on this ride, I will be introducing the table topics master, who will take it from there. I don't want to say what she has to say. And her name, she's none other than TM Jibike Oshodi. She's a legal practitioner, and her Toastmaster, she's a member of the OES Club. She's the OES Toastmasters Club Sergeant at Arms. Her hobbies including reading, traveling, self-development, cooking, interesting, and exercise. And her favorite quote is, "He who hesitates is lost." And I'm sure the second one is very familiar. Things fall apart when the center cannot hold. So please put your hands together as I welcome once again TM GBK Oshodi to take us into the table tactics session. Please, the vector lectern is yours. You're welcome. Are you on this call, TM GBK Oshodi?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Absolutely.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome, and I hope we enjoy the table topics today. So, I have a question. I have like 1 to 7 questions. Who is interested into the table topics? Do I have anybody that's interested, or do I just call and nominate? Hello, Toastmasters. Nobody is nominating themselves. Or maybe I should pick on somebody. I think I'll pick on somebody. Can I?
So there's a hand raised. Toastmaster Deborah. Here it comes. Toastmaster of the day. I can't hear the table topic master. I think she's gone off.
Are you still with us? Table topics master?
She has dropped off.
Yes. Toastmasters and guests, I think would, why don't you just, I would suggest that we'll go to the next session while she comes to, I don't know, Madam President, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you can go ahead with the manual speeches.
Okay, okay, okay. Is she back? No, I don't think so. Ladies and gentlemen, I think while we wait for the table topics master to come to get her network together, I will be calling on, we are coming to the segment for the manual speeches. As we've heard before, the manual speeches, there are going to be two of them. I'm going to be introducing the first one, which is TM Oghoin-olem, who is going to be giving us a speech. But first of all, I will introduce the evaluator for her speech, which is none other than TM Oghoin-olem. She doesn't need any introduction anymore. So over to you, Madam TM Oghoin-olem. Okay, my bad, sorry. That's supposed to be the second speech. The first speech is by TM Grace Peter, and it's TM James Joy that will be evaluating her. And TM James Joy, her name brings joy, Uche Joy James. She's the Vice President, Pecten membership, Pecten Club. She's on a dynamic leadership pathway. Her hobbies are traveling, spending time with family, and watching interesting shows. And interestingly, she has a quote, Tom Ford: "Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right." So the Vector lecture is yours, TM Joy. I'd love to hear your voice. Over to you, TM Joy. Are you on this call, TM Joy?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Please confirm that you can hear and see me.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, thank you. Today, I will be evaluating Toastmaster Grace Peter's speech. She's going to be giving a very interesting, peculiar, actually a speech that I particularly like, which is the Icebreaker speech. It's the first speech in every pathway. She's going to just be telling us a bit about herself. She's going to introduce herself to us and just in the process, learn the basic structure of speech giving. It's her christening into the Toastmasters space. So today, I don't know if you're as excited as I am to listen to TM Grace Peter today. Oh, I see TM Josephine, LIMPID voice, thank you. So her speech title is Becoming More, Effective Coaching Pathway Level 1, Project 1. Mr. Grace, are you on this call and are you ready to blow us away?
Yes, please.
Okay, over to you.
Success is a journey and not a destination. As a little girl, I thought the reverse was the case. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests on this call. Sitting alone on a wooden two-seater deck in an averagely littered classroom, taking an examination with my seniors who were 2 classes ahead of me. It all made sense why she had her gaze on me. My proprietress admired me as I wrote. I was an exceptionally intelligent student who would comfortably compete with my senior, as I was the school's best foot forward. My name is Grace Peter, a wife and a mother of 2. Born into a family of 4, I'm the 3rd child of my parents. I'm from Akwa Ibom State, born and bred in Lagos. As a little girl, all I wanted was to inspire people, be successful, and positively influence my immediate environment. I could literally touch this dream as my academic excellence grew in leaps and bounds. Not only was I the best commercial student in my school, but also I had the best WAEC result when graduating. I was literally excited and ready to take on the next phase of my life. The disappointment was so thick, I could literally cut it with a knife. This doesn't make sense, I said to myself. How can I put in so much work and still not come out top in my class? It was the 2nd semester of my year 2 in the Department of Economics, University of Wales. To my colleague, I was doing quite well, but deep down, I was so hard on myself that I was not the best in my class. I had a penchant for developing my communication skill at the time, which was the reason why I joined a community of student presenters. Which was the reason why I joined a community of student presenters. We had a nationwide competition at the time, and I auditioned to partake in this competition. I trained so hard for this, but I wasn't picked to represent my school. Divulged in defeat. This dampened my spirit. My self-confidence staggered and hit the rock. My weakness was staring at me in the face. This also had a ripple effect on my outlook towards life. I was petrified to make a move. I was I took solace in my comfort zone. Delegated to become a red carpet host and a compere in my church event. With my past freshly ingrained in my subconscious, I stood vis-a-vis with my fears. Undaunted by the uncertainties this may pose, but I did not sleep on this opportunity. I quickly went on the web, surfed on YouTube, and I gave it a shot. It was an impressive try. This was just the boost I needed to finding myself again. And then I suddenly realized I was wrong after all, judging myself based on other people's ability when my biggest competition is who I see when I stare at the mirror. My job as a public relations officer in a multinational firm has made LIMPID my profound assets, which is my communication skills and my knack for compelling audience. I want to optimally explore my potential. I also aim to endlessly push myself out of my comfort zone, evolving and becoming more, blooming into someone I'm really super proud of. To chart a path that resonates with these developments, and a platform is premium in making this a reality. It's the reason why I joined Toastmasters. Thanks to Toastmaster Nduke Usoro for the referral. Indeed, success is a journey and not a destination. I will appreciate every milestone, own every moment, trust the process, and grow through it. It takes a lifetime to becoming more. And this I am committed to. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Wow, that was amazing. That was actually amazing. It's quite limpid that we all desire to become more. And I think that speech has reignited that, added some fire to the fire within us. Thank you for that wonderful speech. Then without much ado, I will be going to the second manual speech of today, which will be given by Oghoin-olem. And evaluating her would be Oghoin-olem. Okereka. She needs no introduction. I like the part about her. She likes food. I like food too. So over to you, Oghoin-olem. The lectern is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, and good evening, everyone. Today, Toastmaster Olem would be speaking to us on WWE raised to power 2. This is a second project in level 3 on the visionary communication pathway. And I am very excited to listen to Toastmaster Olem give this speech. The objective of her speech The objective of this speech is for her to introduce or demonstrate how comfortable she is using a presentation software. It can include the creation of slides or even incorporating technology into a speech. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Oh, sorry, I got the network. My network was fuzzy. Without much ado, we are going to Oghoin-olem. I hope you're ready for your speech now. Please, the vector lectern is yours. Oghoin-olem, just confirm you can hear us. And the vector.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, Toastmaster Mufti.
Please go ahead. Thank you.
If you've been looking for a place where rare, delicious delicacies are being served, and you haven't found one yet, there's good news for you, because this is the WWE squared, the place where wonderful, weird, exotic, and expensive foods are served. As your host today, this is the menu with which we're going to do this. And first is the presentation goal, the wonderful foods, the weird foods, the exotic and expensive food, and then I will conclude this speech. What is the goal of this presentation? It is basically to incorporate the use of a presentation tool to deliver a well-organized speech. And with that said, let's go to the wonderful foods. Starting with the shoyu chicken, all the way from Hawaii. Now, this meal is tender marinated chicken cooked in soy sauce and ginger, and it is usually served with sticky rice and mac salad. Yummy, right? Second is the feijoada stew from Brazil. This is Brazil's national dish. It is made up of meat and black beans that is typically soaked up for about 24 hours, and then the black beans is slowly cooked. This recipe calls for the use of orange. You want to know what they use it for? Basically, it's to help reduce the fat in the meat, and it's typically served with rice or farufa, as they call it. Welcome to Nigeria, where we serve egusi soup. It is arguably one of the most popular soups in Nigeria. It is made up of meat, all kinds of meats that you can imagine. Goat meat, beef, cow skin, cow trowel, everything, including seafood and vegetable. It is typically served with pounded yam and cassava flour. Now that I have walked up your appetite, or better still, served you with some really nice dishes, I am sure you're thirsty. Might I quench that thirst with a gourd of cow blood from Kenya and Tanzania? Now, you heard me right. The Maasai people in Kenya and Tanzania actually consume cow blood during special occasions like the circumcision of a child, the birth of a baby, and a girl's marriage. On the average, they actually serve this with milk to their young children who cannot hunt just yet. The bird nest soup from China. It's a 400 years old rare delicacy. Matter of fact, it is referred to as the caviar of the East. And I will tell you why very shortly. It does have some health benefits like helping in healthier pregnancies and building up strong immune systems. Now, why is this a rare delicacy? When you hear bird's nest, I am sure what you think about are straws and grasses like what you see at your backyard. Yes? No. This particular soup is made up of saliva from the edible swiftlet bird. Yes, you heard me right, saliva. However, because of all the things that it contains, it's why it is a rare delicacy. Also, this bird has a funny way of putting its nest together, and you can only find these in caves, behind waterfalls, and in some really risky areas. Next is the fugu sashimi. I don't understand why people would want to eat any food that contains tetrodotoxins, which is 1,200 times more poisonous than cyanide. However, the Japanese seem to think that this is really nice. And so they serve it in the sashimi form, which is raw fish fillet that they cut really thin because it's tough, it is chewy and resilient. And it is served in a colorful plate like what you see on the screen. However, they arrange it like the chrysanthemum flower, which, by the way, in Japan is the symbol of death. And it is served alongside with edible flowers and flavorful condiments. Welcome to the exotic and expensive, where we talk dollars. The first on this is the beluga caviar. Now, this is the most expensive caviar in the world and by far considered to be the most expensive food in the world. It costs a whopping $35,000 per kg of fish eggs. Why is this so? Apparently, the albino beluga sturgeon, which is a fish, has to be 60 to 100 years old and only found in the Caspian Sea. They start laying these eggs only when they turn 25 years old. It is extremely rare and served only in London at the Caviar House and Prunay. It is typically packaged in a 24-karat gold tin. The second is the Grand Velas taco. This is the world's most expensive taco at $25,000. My God. Now, this is why it is so expensive. It contains the Kobe beef. If you know what Kobe beef is, it's actually one of the most expensive beefs in the world. It has lobster, it's got beluga caviar, black truffle cheese, edible gold leaves, and it is wrapped in gold-infused corn tortilla. Just in case you don't know what tortilla means, it's your shawarma wrap, except that these ones are very nice and expensive, infused with gold. It is served only at the Grand Velas Los Cabos Resort in Mexico. And the pre-order criteria is that you must be occupying the presidential suite at this resort, and you must pay 50% upfront for this meal. Next is the Fortress Fisherman Indulgence. This costs a whopping $14,500. It contains the Italian cassata, mango and pomegranate compote, which is just like a syrup, adorned with gold leaves, and an 80-karat aquamarine stone, as you can see in the picture. It is served only in this resort. And since its introduction to the resort's menu, only 2 have been sold since 2007. Last on our list is the Golden Opulence Sundae, and it is being sold only in Serendipity at the New York restaurant. It has a price tag of $1,000. Please, if somebody were to do a conversion at a flat rate of 415 naira, we're talking ice cream worth 415,000 naira. Think about it. But why is it so expensive? It contains Tahitian vanilla ice cream, a 23-karat gold leaf, caviar, chocolate from Tuscany, vanilla beans from Madagascar, edible diamonds, sugar-forged orchid that takes about 8 hours to hold and prepare. It is served in a baccarat crystal goblet that costs $350 and an 18-karat gold spoon. You must pre-order 48 hours ahead of time for you to have this dish. The good news with this one is that you can actually go home with your Baccarat crystal goblet. So in conclusion, I would end with a quote by George Bernard Shaw that says, "There is no love sincerer than the love of food." And for you, it could be wonderful. For some others, it could be weird. And for some of us, it could be exotic and expensive. Whatever it is, do love your food. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But the weird ones, ew, not for me. Certainly the expensive ones, because I mean, I'll take away some gold. And the first ones, but not for me, not for me, not the weird one. Well, put your hands together once more for Oghoin-olem. That was a very interesting talk. Please put your hands together for her. Then we are going to go straight for, I don't know if the Table Topics Master is back on this call, but if she's not here, maybe we'll just go to the tips and tricks with our IPP, our Honorable IPP, TM Uche. I don't know if we can go ahead. Yeah, hello. Can we go ahead with her, or she's back on the call? The Table Topics Master.
She's back on the call, Toastmaster of the day.
Okay. Please, the vector lectern is yours. Table Topics Master. The vector lectern is yours. Please, you're welcome back. Please put your hands together for
Yes,
her.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can
yes,
you hear me?
I can. Yes, we can.
Yes. Yes. Hello. Sorry, I was pushed out. My yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I was pushed out. My network was being epileptic. So who am I? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, but it's still breaking. Yes, we can. Continue, please.
Okay. For I've been told there are only 4 table topics, between 1 and 4. Hello, Abiodun. He doesn't seem to be hearing. Can anybody else volunteer for table topics, please? Hello.
We can hear you, Table Topics Master. I nominate Toastmaster Joy.
So, can anybody else volunteer? Hello, can anybody else volunteer, please?
Someone has nominated the
Okay, what
Toastmaster Joy.
Adimola Kolawole. Okay. Okay, Toastmaster Joy. What number do you want? Between 1 and 4, please. What number? Look at the chat box. Toastmaster Joy. Nobody is volunteering. No. What about Toastmaster Tokme? It's on my video. I don't know. Who is volunteering, please? Time is
all right. I volunteer. I volunteer to take. But
okay, any number between 1 and 4, please.
Okay, number 4.
Okay, which were your dad or mom's favorite 2 proverbs? Can you tell us any? A proverb is an adage, like things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Explain to us any 2 of your dad or your mom's favorite proverbs when you were growing up.
Thank you very
get
much.
That?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did. Thank you very much, Madam Table Topic Master. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Well, I can say that my mom only had one quote, and that quote was, whatever you want to do it absolutely well. If you don't want to do it, better step aside. Well, I will say that is the quote by Suzanne Ehiavi, the mother of Francis Ehiavi. So that quote has stood with me, or have been with me since the time I started using my memory to understand things, because I have come to realize that whenever you are doing something for me, or whenever I am doing something for anybody, I do it well. If I know that I am not going to do it well, I will just step aside. Because at the end of the day, I don't want you to feel bad. And also, I don't want to feel bad as well. So whenever I'm telling somebody, please do something for me, I tell the person that if you know you cannot do it, let me know. It's better for you to say so than for you to give me half-baked, maybe half-baked of your efforts. Yes, I cannot find another quote from my mom, but I think this other one is equally similar to that. My mom will always say, go all in. Go all in means don't have second thought, don't second guess yourself. You have to go all in so that you can enjoy the process. I think that is what she meant by that quote. For my dad, only one, and that was when I was in secondary school. He said to me that, son, always read when you are happy. And of course, whenever I'm not happy and I pick up a book to read, I realize that I'm just wasting my time. But whenever I am happy and I pick up a book, if I read 10 pages, I can recite the exact same words in those 10 pages. Absolutely, I have great parents, and I would like to end it there. My mom will say, go all in. If you are doing something for somebody, do it with all your might. If you're not going to do it with all you've got, step aside. And my dad is always read when you are happy. Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much. Wise parents you have there. I'm sure we've all learned a lot. So another person that has volunteered is Mrs. James. Which number would you like, please?
Please, may I be reminded of the options? What options do I have?
Hello?
What
Mrs.
options
James
do I
has
have?
volunteered. I saw you volunteer in the chat box.
Can you hear me?
You have number 1 to 3. 1 to 3. What
1
number
to
do you
3.
want?
All
yes,
right.
I can. I said number 1 to 3.
2. Number 2.
Okay. Explain these 2 proverbs. Even the lion protects himself against the flies. Even the lion protects himself against the flies. It's not what you call me, but what I answer to. So explain these 2 proverbs in your own words and what you think they mean. Even the lion protects himself against the flies. It's not what you call me, but what I answer to.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you, Table Topics Master, aka Professor Jivike, because I see that you call me Mrs. So I claim it. All right. So it's not what you're called, it's what you accept. I'll just paraphrase. And the lion also protects itself from the flies. I'll first start with the first one.
Yes.
Growing up, I was burdened with the weight of stereotypes. There's always the stereotype of last kids or last children are spoiled, last children have no home training, last children are too pampered and sheltered. So growing up, I always had these stereotypes coming at me back to back. And then growing up, when I became an adult, I got people saying to me things like, oh, you don't act like a last born. Oh, you're more mature than a last born would be, typically. And then it became limpid to me that stereotypes mean nothing until you accept them. So if someone calls you a certain thing or stereotypes you to be a certain thing or gives you a certain name or a certain attributes, it's not yours until you accept it. We only can accept to be what we want to be and not what we're called. And as regards the lion protecting itself from the fly, we know the lion to be the king of the jungle, the odogu. But something as small as a fly would disturb it. Isn't that quite ironic? This just goes to say that no matter the weight or no matter the height you think you might have attained in life, there are the little things that come around you that you need to protect yourself from. I think it's somewhere in the Bible that it says that the little ants or the termites are what spoil the flock. Paraphrasing. So if you feel like you're up there, if you feel like you have it all figured out, still watch out. Be careful of the little things that have the ability to, as a whole, come together little by little to ruin all of the effort that you have made to attain that height. So yes, these are my little cents or my 1 cent as regards the 2 codes that you have given me to explain today. Thank you, and back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for those wise words. I'm sure we're all learning a lot. So I have 1 and 2 left. Any volunteers, please? Any volunteers while my network is still working? Any volunteers?
I volunteer. I'm unable to
Yes.
raise my hand.
Okay, who's that? Is that TM
This is-
Millicent? Yeah.
No, this is TM Fumi Daramola.
Okay, sorry to TM Fumi. So which number would you want? 1 or 2?
And number 1?
Number 1 or 2? Okay.
Number 1.
So please
1.
explain to us what is a proverb. Okay. Please explain to us what is a proverb and state your favorite 2 proverbs and their meanings, please.
Wow,
So
that's a very interesting question. Thanks so much for the question, Table Topics Master. A proverb, I would say, is a wise saying, and they are brought from deep inspiration. Proverbs come from a result of deep inspiration, and sometimes they could be short, sometimes they could be long, sometimes they could be witty. They come in various shapes and sizes. And interestingly, my favorite book in the good book, which is the Bible, because I'm a Christian, is the book of Proverbs. I will not be able to quote anything for you word for word in the proverb, but I would say that part of the sayings in the book of Proverbs that I like the most will be coming from the 31st chapter, which is the virtuous woman. As a matter of fact, there was a time that my password, which I've since stopped using anyway, so I can disclose it, was virtuous woman, because I really, really wanted to be one. So I think that part of my sayings will be the heart of our husband's truster, you know. So that's something that I look forward to, that is working for me, and I can proudly say that the heart of my husband trusts me. And another saying that I like is also in the book of Proverbs now. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. You know, so I don't know whether that's the proverb, but it's found in the book of Proverbs. But it's something that resonates with me, you know, that, you know, if you don't know where you're going, you don't know what's going to happen in the next few seconds. So just trust in the person who knows it all, the beginning and the end and everything in between. You know, so those are the things, those are the 2 that I'll be sharing with you today. So I hope you like them.
Yes, I do. I've learned a lot.
I'll hand over to you now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do I have time for one more table topic? I think, do I? So who's going to volunteer for the last one? I'm sure we're all learning a lot and it's not as difficult as you think. Or do I call on somebody? Can I call on somebody?
Yeah, sure, if you can.
Okay, TM Angelica. Since I'm familiar with her, we're both at OES. TM Angelica, are you still on the call?
Toastmaster Ngozi's hand is up.
Yes, I am.
Okay, Toastmaster, but
oh, we
okay,
have a
sorry.
volunteer. So does that mean I am saved?
Yeah, yeah, you've been saved. So can I have Toastmaster Ngozi then? Sorry, Toastmaster Angelica. TM Ngozi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
So I have one last thing. It's a quote. It says, survive the dark and you become the light. Relate that to an experience in your own life. So I'll repeat it again. Survive the dark and you become the light. Just give us a few minutes about how you can relate that to your own life. Survive the dark and you become the light. Did you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Toastmaster.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Toastmaster. Okay, not
so just give us a few words of how you can relate that to your life.
Okay, how I can relate that to my life. While in the dark, please, I'm sorry, can you take it again so I can properly internalize?
Survive the dark and you become the light. Survive the dark and you become the light.
All right, thank you very much. Survive the dark and become the light. To me, it's all about what is the dark moment of my life. And I will stand very tall to say that the dark moment of my life was the day I saw my husband lying lifeless on the floor. After we had come to visit my children in school, we came back, had dinner, what I call dinner, because it was not like the normal food. It was the remnant of all the children had dropped off in school. By the time we got home, we had it, we laid on the couch there in the sitting room, gisting, and after a while, I slept off without even remembering if I had finished the last bite of the pizza. I remember very vividly I had on my hand that evening. So after a while, when I walked up, I remember him coming to touch me, saying that he was going upstairs, that the couch was not comfortable for him. And I said to him that my legs were so weak because of the shoe I wore, that I won't be joining him, that later on, I'll find my way. Until I was pressed and got up, went to the restroom downstairs with myself, then walk up to see him, lifeless on the floor. Initially, it never occurred to me that he passed or he was, leaving the earth. I thought he was just joking like we always do on Saturdays when one doesn't want to get up to probably take to the shores because it was just two of us in the house. So we divide our Saturday rules, chores like that among ourselves. We say, okay, today you do the breakfast while I do the cleaning and all of that. So I thought it was one of those jokes, So I tried to tickle him to get up and all of that. And lo and behold, there was no response from him. I started shouting. So it was a dark moment for me that the memory has not gone out, But being the light in this dark is after his burial, I saw my children with loss of hope in their eyes, with confusion of what the future holds for them. They didn't verbalize it, but I can feel it being their mother. So that day I stood and told myself that whatever it takes, however it's going to be, that I'll work so hard. I'll make sure that my children don't, miss. They will definitely miss their dad because he was a very loving dad, but they won't miss where he had dreamt for them and where they dreamt themselves. So since that day, the courage that came from both heaven and around me, gave them so much hope. So I felt that I cut off from where I was, despaired and hopeless. I started doing something, and then they became so courageous and looked into the future with hope. So that's how, in the midst of the dark, I shined as light to my children and people around us. Thank you. Over to you.
That was quite touching.
Thank you. Yes, it was quite touching. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
That was. Please, let's put our hands together for the Toastmaster, the Table Topics Master, and those very wonderful speakers in our Table Topics sessions. Before we go straight to the evaluation of the Table Topics session, we're calling for the submission of votes. Submission of votes. I think that you should have put it. Have we put it together, please? Which do you think is the best? Which comes across to you as the best speaker among these four speakers? A vote will be coming up now, and just make a choice. And please, is that being done right now? Because I have to step in because of the Table Topics Master said network, so that we don't. So please, is that being put together?
Yes, but let's move ahead, please.
Okay, are we evaluating or do we just go straight to the tips and tricks?
Let's go to the training session, please.
Okay, so please, without much ado, the training session, the tips and tricks, will be given to us by none other than TM Uche, immediate past IPP, is a wonderful gentleman, one of the people who have motivated me in this Pecten journey. Without much ado, I would call on him now. Mr. TM Uche, are you on the call? Please, the virtual lesson
Yes,
is yours.
I am on the call.
Yes. Go ahead,
you.
please.
Thank you so much. Please, by your indulgence, I'll be sharing my screen. I will be sharing my screen. Just let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen yet?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
All right, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. All right, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests. As he has mentioned, I'm the immediate past president of Pecten Toastmasters. I will be talking today about organizing your speech, and this part of the mandate from the division where every club within a month would have one learning session where they have time to talk about one of the tips or tricks that will help them improve public speaking or leadership. Organizing your speech. I'll start first of all by asking if any one of you on the call has been like me, where they have been called to give a speech. You have so many ideas, before the speech, someone like Olem or any of the persons who have given a speech today, you had so many ideas, but you struggled to organize it. You struggled to put it down, put pen and paper together. If this is you in any way remotely, just type YEPA in the chat box. YEPA is spelled YEKPA. Just type YEPA in the chat box. Tell us, has this ever happened to you where you wanted to give a speech, you had so many ideas, you wrote all of them down, but it just seemed like it was so difficult for you to put your speech, to organize your speech? There are very few people here. I thought I was going to have, I put K. Dr. Toastmaster Daramala has helped to correct that spelling, not to be no K in the Yepa. It's not Yepa. Okay. Josephine say Yepa Berekete. Oh, one of a Zoom user has says Yepa. So you can see that there are so many people here that are Liverpool fans. You can't walk alone. Many of us have been through this one time or the other. Toastmasters and guests, today I will be talking about giving you tips and tricks on how to organize your speech. Make it limpid enough so that you come out sounding like a pro and people understand your speech. And at the end of your speech, they are able to pick out something. That's all I'm going to be speaking about today. So that by next time, you wouldn't shout Yipa again. All right. So let's start with this first picture that you can see on your screen. And I would like you to, in the chat box, tell me how easy it will be to find, let's say, a wallet in this room. For example, how easy will it be? If it's going to be easy, very easy, you can put easy here in the chat box. If it's going to be very difficult, please put difficult in the chat box. So just, I'd like to see what do you think? How easy will it be to find a missing wallet, for example? Never. That's Toastmaster Olem. Toastmaster Olem, oh, SA thinks it's going to be very difficult. When I was getting this picture, I took my time to make sure I look through this picture very closely to make sure I don't find anything that would, that is not supposed to be this picture, but this picture looks very, tattered. On a scale of 1 to 10, it will be 11. We can imagine how that is. Okay, 1 to 10. Let's use Toastmaster Damola's analogy. How difficult or easy will it be for you to find a wallet? So 10 would be very difficult. 1 will be very easy. How easy will it be with this picture that you can find? So easy, it will take forever. Okay, let me say 1. Okay, so you can see that a lot of people, unless there's a system to disorganization, it means that if there's a system to disorganization, it may be easier to find your wallets. At Toastmaster Olem, we have an understanding that we know someone who you don't need to organize his table. It's easier for him to find something on his table when it's very disorganized, but I'm very sure that many of us are not like that. So, but if you see the picture, you can see it's so easy for you to find, a soy sauce for you to be able to make that show you chicken that Olem was talking about. It's very easy for you to find it here. A lot of times, our speeches are something like what you see on the screen here. There's so much detail. There's a lot to be talked about, but they're just all over the place. It makes it difficult for someone to find what is the main topic here? What are we going to take home away from this? But if you just take your time to organize it this way, I can pick and choose. I can decide to pick things from the top, left, bottom, and eventually I would understand and be able to make sense out of your speech. All right. Now, there are 3 things you need to know. And if you have a pen and paper, this is the time where you need to begin to write a few things. To organize your speech, there are 3 things that you need to do. 3 big things that you need to do. The first thing you need to do is to tell them what you are going to tell them. So if you're giving a speech, the first thing to do is to tell the people what you want to tell them. And what does this mean when I say tell them what you're going to tell them? It means that the first 2 minutes of your speech, you must make it compelling enough. The audience must be eager to hear what you want to say. You must use that time to sound very convincing. Make sure that they understand that maybe your action authority in these things you want to talk about, and they're eager to hear more. This is the place where you begin to get the central idea. Take, for instance, when I started my presentation, I already told you most of what I wanted to tell you, that I was going to be telling you how to organize your speech and make sure you're able to come out as limpid and as clear enough. That is what telling them what you're going to tell them is about. So it's almost like a summary at the beginning, The next thing you do would be to tell them. What does it mean to tell them? To tell them means you then take the main idea of what you're going to tell them, of the points that you're going to make, and make sure that each point is backed up by, let's say, by statistics, by facts, by things that you've researched. Take some research or supporting materials to help this flesh out this part where you're telling them the things that you need to tell them. And last part is to tell them what you've told them. Don't forget this. And this is the Toastmasters way of speaking, and many other people who have who teach people how to organize their speech. Anytime you want to give a speech, remember, you first of all give a summary of your speech at the beginning. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Eventually, you tell them, and then you tell them what you've told them. All right. Giving a speech is more like taking your audience on a journey. And maybe if you've ever been on if you ever asked somebody to give you a description to somewhere, and the person begins to ramble all over the place, I find it very hard when I tell someone to give me a description to somewhere and the person just goes all, and sometimes it's difficult for me to understand, and I just use a Google map. Thank God for Google map. It's easier for you to find your way to places, but I found that people find it very difficult to be able to take the audience on a journey. So that's what the speech is like. A speech is a journey. And when you're organizing your speech, make sure you're able to put the bus stops where they are so that people can join you and understand where your destination would be. Now, the crux of the matter, how do you then organize your speech? The first thing is to develop an outline. And what would your outline contain? Your outline would contain first an introduction, right? And like I tell people, speeches are always based on a tripod, and I'll explain that a little bit later. You should have an introduction. Your speech should have a body. The body is where your main points or ideas are, where your supporting materials would be, and finally, where your conclusion would be. Does this sound anything familiar like I've said before? Remember when I say tell them all you're going to tell them? That's what an introduction is. A body is where you have your main points, and your supporting material, and then you conclude by telling them all that you've told them before. I've said this twice to make sure that you understand that this is the crux of the matter of how to organize your speech. So if your speech doesn't have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, it will be like this chair on the right. And what will happen if you sit on this chair on the right? So please type in the chat box. Would you prefer to sit on the chair on the left or on the right? Please, chat box, let's hear. Left or right? Which one would you choose? The chair on the left or the right? Let's see. Left. No, I expect the answer to have come left. But if you sit on the right, there's a high chance you will fall if you sit on the right chair. All right. So what does it mean to fill the outline? When you have that outline, the first thing you need to do when you're filling your outline is to list your key points. You have these beautiful ideas everywhere, but remember, ask yourself, what is the main thing I want to tell people? A lot of times people decide that they want to start with writing the beginning of their speech. And if we ask Olem, for example, she would have thought of a very compelling way to start her speech. And if you keep thinking about that, it can make you very anxious, and eventually you become tired of writing your speech. So it's better for you to take some time and just write the key points down. What is the main message that you want to pass across? And just write them down. When you write these key points, begin to write like 2 or 3 statements or sentences that would follow these key points. You write your key points, then you write a few sentences to follow them. The next is to arrange them in order. If you're taking people on a journey, if you know in your head that there are like 5 bus stops on your journey to, let's say, the airport, for example, you just list those 5 bus stops, and then you begin to arrange them in order and say, oh, first, if I leave Rumomasi, the next bus stop I will get to will be Air Force. Next bus stop would be around the flyover. You begin to list them, arrange them in order. You can use it to make a loose outline, and before you know it, you begin to write your speech or organize your speech. You begin to expand on these points. Remember, you've listed your key points. You've written like 2 or 3 statements, then you begin to expand these points. By the time you expand at these points and you've expanded them enough, in expanding them, you will need to maybe write things like statistics, for example. You write things like quotations, you write like research. So these are the kind of things that can help you to expand your points. After that, you can then begin developing an introduction. Now, mind you, I didn't say start with that introduction. List the key points first. After writing the key points, arrange them, expand them, then you write an introduction, and then you develop a close. See how it works. So you have written everything in the body before you write the introduction and a close. And it's logical if you think about it, because your introduction is the summary of everything you want to tell them, and a close is telling them what you have told them before. Now, there are a few things that can help you in making, organizing your speech. And one of the few things that you can do is putting together a mind map. And I will show you how a mind map works very quickly. It's nothing too difficult. It's just, using something that is visual, writing your idea in the middle or your main point in the middle, I begin to write things around it and draw lines to the main point. In that way, you are making it visual and you'll be able to remember, and even in a particular way, be able to chronologically or in any manner you want, arrange your speech so that you can take your audience in a journey and get to a destination. Now, 92% of people who use a mind map software say that it helps them to distill information and make clarity faster. Because a lot of times we find it difficult to be clear about the topic or the particular speech that we want to give. 83% of people who use a mind map software have said that mind mapping helps them share their ideas with greater clarity and impact. So you can use this small hack to help you organize your speech. How to use a mind map? First of all, write the main topic in the middle. After that, you use the tell them formula. Remember the tell them formula? Tell them all you want to tell them, and then tell them what you had told them. Then you write the outline on the side. You remember those key points. Then you develop the main ideas first. That's how a mind map works. And before you know it, your speech is coming to life. The next thing to do is to another way to use the mind map is to put your outline in the middle. You write your intro by the side, you write your body, and then you write the end. And in that way, if you write those points, you're already beginning to get your speech together. Now, you may ask yourself, how about things that are just trivial? You know that they don't really connect to the main topic, but you think it may be necessary. You can use if separate paper and just write them somewhere, record them. There may be extra material that you may call up at any point in time. You can use asterisks, numbers, and color code some things. For example, if you want something that you're going to remind people over and over again, you can use a red marker to put there, and to help you to, as much as possible, not forget to put those points and ideas in the speech that you'll be giving. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, an ancient Greek poet has said it is best to do things systematically, since we are only human and disorder is our worst enemy. If you remember the first picture I showed you of disorder, it's really difficult for you to find anything of worth or something that you may have been missing in that place. But the second picture was able to very limpidly show us that you can find something very easily when things are organized. If you use these few hacks of organizing your speech as a body, first of all, making an introduction, putting a body and a conclusion, you will pass your message across to people more succinctly and with greater clarity. Thank you. I'll hand over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, TM Uche, for that wonderful session. I hope we have. Please put your hands. Let's put our hands together for TM Uche. That was a very wonderful session. I believe that we have gained a lot, especially when we're in the business, since we're in the business of making speeches and all that. Thank you very much. TM Uche, would love to see you at some point again to give us more tips. Now, without much ado, I am going to be calling on again on our lady in red, who is the general evaluator. Please, are you ready for your thing? So TM,
yes, I am. Our LIMPID Toastmaster of the day.
It's all yours.
Yes,
So
it has been an
madam.
amazing meeting. Thank you, Toastmaster Uche, for that very LIMPID nuggets that you shared to us on how to organize our speeches. Well done. Thank you so much. I have learned a lot. Yes, it is that segment that I love so much. That segment that makes me want to come to Toastmaster all over and over again. The evaluation segment. Yes, right about now, we move to our evaluators for the prepared speeches. So at the moment, I'll be calling on the first evaluator that will be evaluating the speech of Toastmaster Grace. The evaluator is my very good friend, my brilliant Toastmaster Ekuchi. The virtual podium is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Joseph. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I always look forward to meetings with you in it. All right, so I would first start by saying that Toastmaster Grace Peters did an amazing job. I'd give her a personalized clap. She did super, super well. For an icebreaker speech, it could be a bit tricky because you're just coming into the system. There's a lot of nerves. You can get anxious. But Toastmaster Grace today did not seem like someone who was anxious. She seemed very well prepared. So it was pretty easy even evaluating her. I'll be using the sandwich method today. Start by saying the things that she excelled at, things that she could do better, and what she should challenge herself to do. I like that she started off really strong. She started off with a quote that said that success is a journey and not a destination. And then I expected her to end there, but she said no. As a young adult, it was not the case for her. So there was a plot twist there that was really good. I loved that she stood up. In the virtual world that we're in today, everyone has gotten so used to giving their speeches while seated. As long as the camera captures your face to your bust, that's fine. But she did give us the already accepted method. She stood up, which helped us to see her full frame. It almost felt like I was in a face-to-face meeting because it was easier for her to do a lot more with her body gestures, body language was clear. When she said I staggered, I saw that she staggered. It almost felt like I was in a face-to-face meeting. So well done for that. Hand gestures, eye contact, facial expressions. You took me into your world, which was really, really good. She said, she used expressions like so thick, I could cut it with a knife. She had good lighting in the place where she was at, which was really good as well. What do I think you could have done better, Toastmaster Grace? Hard as it was for me to pick out any flaws, I just think that maybe you should have incorporated more quotes in your speech. It's always advised that we put quotes in our speech to make the speech sound more professional, give it more depth. So going forward, I think when you're giving your next speech, just try as much as possible to incorporate more quotes. And then the pauses. There was a time you had a really long pause, and that's not encouraged or it's not advised, because then it gives us the impression or gives us the vibe that you are thrown off. So I saw how I think you were having some challenges with your network or something, but it was such a long pause and we're nimble, like, okay, what's going to happen next? And you came back on. I think you should have finessed that better. When such a thing happens, try as much as possible not to make it obvious to us that you've lost some control. Still hold the fort. Do something or say something that just closes that gap in between. Occasionally as well, I noticed that you had a few short pauses here and there. Try as much as possible to avoid that so that it doesn't just dampen the quality of your speech. I'd also challenge you to next time tell us more about yourself, which you already did, but I think it could have been more. Maybe give us some story that transcended from young age, middle to now. Just let us know, give us some form of a transition through your life. All in all, it was an amazing speech. I loved how you used vis-a-vis, penchant, knack. I took notes. See, I have a lot of words to use this week. Well done, and thank you for that. Lastly, I'll end by saying that Toastmaster Udoke Usoro should be appreciated and applauded for spurring you on to be a Toastmaster, because you, with limpidity, you have proven to us that you are ready for this journey. Well done, Toastmaster Grace Peters, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very kindly, our speech evaluator, Toastmaster Ekuchi, for that very, very limpid evaluation. And I hope that each and every one of us will incorporate those moving forward in our next speeches. Thank you so much. The next on our list is the speech evaluator for Toastmaster Oghoin-olem. And that person is no other than my enjoyment baby girl, Toastmaster SC. The virtual podium is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and good evening, everyone. Well done, Toastmaster Oghoin-olem, on successfully delivering this project. The objective of this project was to demonstrate your understanding of incorporating technology into a speech, such as the creation of slides. And you did fantastically well. You absolutely met the objective of that purpose. I love the fact that your slides were actually limpid. You beautifully incorporated images and words that we were all able to see. And I do say salivate too. Well done. I love how you started with a question, gave us an outline, and explained to us the process you were going to take through the speech. In addition, I love the fact that even in your presentation, you used the words were not much. They were succinct, they were in bullet points, and you talked us through each of those points, and even some that were not on the slides. And that shows beautiful mastery of using presentation software. What are some things I'd like to see you work on? I would want you to consider incorporating more courses when you give presentations. The beautiful thing about presentation slides is that it creates more room for audience engagement. So for example, while you were speaking and you asked us, yummy, right? Consider waiting some few seconds so that we would really celebrate and say, this thing is really yummy. And not while we are salivating from the beautiful images you share, we forget to listen to the rest of the speech. In addition, when you ask questions like, oh, okay, I'm sure you're thirsty. Yes, allow us nod. Maybe even ask us to say, if you know you want a drink, I want to see you use it in the chat box. And even because it is a virtual conversation, when you had talked about the opulent Sunday with edible diamonds, someone already shared on the chat box like edible diamonds. A beautiful thing about using presentation software means that it also gives you room to be flexible, to play around in how you talk to your audience while using your materials. I loved your slides. I loved the images. I will recommend that you learn how to manage the information you share. In as much as you took us through a beautiful journey with a lot of yummy and sometimes not so yummy meals, I think it would have helped share your message if maybe we got one exotic, we got one native. If you had alternated in maybe using one instead of three across the drink, the meals, I feel that would have made it much more easier for me to remember my fugu meal or to know if maybe I want to drink blood like the Kenyans do. I'd also say, just as we recommend in Toastmasters about speaking to credibility of whoever we share, I loved how you beautifully concluded with a quote by George Bernard Shaw. I will recommend that you say, for example, according to renowned American writer George Bernard Shaw. That would really help in us ascertaining the credibility of who is speaking. But I loved your slides. They had images that already made me so much more hungry. They were limpid. You shared dollar price with succinct words and bullet points and photos, and you gave us an outline with very yummy pictures. Well done, Toastmaster Oghoin-olem, on successfully showing us how to use presentation software when giving a speech. You have beautifully incorporated technology, and I look forward to more speeches from you. Thank you, and back to you, our General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster SA. Enjoyment baby. Like she just said, I'm going to incorporate that now. According to Bill Gates, we all need people who will give us feedback. That was how we improve. And we have so many people who do that here. Thank you so much. That was very brilliant. So it is also back to you because you are the table topic evaluator to evaluate the table topics section. Thank you.
Thank you, GE. So please, right now, a poll is being launched. Kindly vote for your preferred table topic speaker. Okay, we have 9 out of 24 votes. Please indicate your preference once we get up to half of our audience. Okay, thank you. I think the polls are done. Okay, thank you everyone who participated in our table topics session. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes,
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so first, I'd want to commend our table topics master, Toastmaster GPK. I loved that you showed grace even under pressure. There were a lot. One of the things about working remotely means having to deal with the challenges of virtual network and internet, and there I say village people. But I love that you stayed at it and were able to successfully give us beautiful questions in our table topic session. One suggestion I would incorporate is in table topics, we always advise to be as succinct as possible. So explore, instead of asking questions like, give me 2 full proverbs or tell me 2 instances, may err on the side of caution and just ask with one. In addition, we also recommend that in virtual meetings, you can also tell the participants, oh, first, we welcome guests. If you're a guest on the call and you'd like to volunteer, kindly indicate or share on the chat box. That would really help in getting more people participate in the table topic session. But I loved the questions and thank you for participating in our session. Our first speaker was Toastmaster Francis, who told us his dad's and mom's favorite proverb. I loved the fact that he volunteered. I loved that he was well-paced. And then he said, whatever you want to do it absolutely well. By Susan Ahabi. I love the fact that you did not just say my mom, you actually mentioned her name. You gave her credit like we recommend Toastmasters. In addition, I love the fact that you gave us a recap at the end of your table topic. You repeated what your dad had told you. Always read when you're happy, and what your mom had told you. Whatever you want to do it absolutely well. And you were very hilarious when you told us about how reading when happy might have been a struggle. Thank you for participating in the table topic session. My only feedback, it would have been lovely to see your face while giving the speech. And we always recommend in virtual meetings that we properly rename ourselves so it's easy for people to identify who is speaking. Our next speaker was explain these 2 proverbs. Even the lion protects itself against the fly, and it's not what you're called, but what you answer to. Thank you, Toastmaster Joy. I love the fact that you started off with humor. It gives you time to also consider the responses. As you said, oh, Prophetess GPK, thank you for calling Mrs. That was really well done and the mark of a seasoned speaker and Toastmaster. I love the fact that you used the word of the day and you showed vocal variety so beautifully when you described the lion, the odogu. I could hear some chuckles and see some faces already smiling when you did that. Well done, Toastmaster John. In addition, I love the fact that you also spoke about some of the stereotypes you face as the last one. We always recommend telling personal stories, telling things that relate to us when talking about in table topic session. My only recommendation for you would be as it pertains to referencing the Bible, always explaining and considering when you speak to a diverse audience that it might not be a book people know, and even if they all know, just explaining it would really help. But all in all, I loved it. I loved when you told us about Odogu. And I love that you even gave us a call to action in knowing what we answered to. Well done, Toastmaster Joy. Our third speaker was Toastmaster Fumi Daramola, who had to respond to the topic, what is a proverb? And state your 2 favorite proverbs and what it means to you. I love the fact that you volunteered, you used the word of the day, and you defined proverb according to something. Sorry, looking my notes up everywhere. I love the fact that when you talked about the good book, you mentioned the good book, the Bible, and me as a Christian. That was something you did very beautifully. You were explaining from your perspective why you see this good book as the source of where you get your proverbs from. I love the fact that you did humor so well when you talked about the heart of our husband's trust, and you're like, me, I know that I have my husband's trust. I'm proud of it. That was really very well done. And then you told us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and how it resonated with you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Fumi. My only recommendation, I would have loved to see your face, but I loved your speech. Well done. Our final speaker was Toastmaster Ngozi, who spoke to us on the topic, survive the dark and you become the light. How do you relate to it? I love the fact that even if you had to talk about something very vulnerable and personal, you still volunteered. Your video was on. You started by repeating the question and you explained or took us through one of the most, dare I say, intense and trying moments of your life. I love the fact that even while giving this speech, you still showed vocal variety. When you talked about even when you were considering maybe he was faking it while because of how you split chores, yet you still talked about when you decided to become more positive, to leave that despair, when you felt your children were confused about the future. I love the fact when you now said, I stood and told myself, whatever it takes and however it takes. And then you told us about how you moved from despair to courageousness. Thank you so much for sharing a very sensitive and vulnerable moment of your life, while still inspiring us to learn to look or become the light even when we go through that. All in all, it was really a fantastic table topic session. I absolutely enjoyed myself, and I commend everyone who participated actively in these table topic sessions. We are all LIMPID speakers and will continue to be. Thank you, and back to you, our General Evaluator.
Thank you, our LIMPID table topics evaluator. That was a very limpid evaluation. Thank you so much. Yes, we will now move over to our rest role players. And the first person on my list to be giving us report of how well we have used the counter. Our counter is Toastmaster Emmanuel. Toastmaster Emmanuel, the virtual podium is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I must say this was a very spiffing meeting. At some point, I was wondering maybe I'll add my own ask so that I'll have a report to give. I will start from the R counters report. From my list here, I have the first person on the list, Toastmaster Mufti. He used the pulse filler M 8 times. Toastmaster Francis used the filler word well 2 times. Toastmaster Fumi used the pulse filler M 5 times. I beg your pardon, 8 times. And the filler word 2 times. Toastmaster Ngozi used the pulse filler M 3 times. And the filler word 5 times. Toastmaster Uche, he used the filler word once, and the pulse filler 2 times. You can see from my report that the most popular filler word, or I will say filler phrase in this case, is the phrase It was used a total of 8 times by different speakers. So I just admonish as we continue to speak through the week, we should be careful of using the pulse filler, even in our day-to-day conversations. So with that, I'll go over to the listening evaluation with the permission of the general evaluator. Or will I come back at a later time?
You could go on.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam G. So I have some questions here. I'll be giving us about 3 questions just to test our attentiveness and our understanding throughout the meeting. I will start with the first phrase that was so beautifully used by one of the speakers. The disappointment was so thick, I could cut it with a knife. Who used this expression?
Toastmaster Grace.
Toastmaster Grace. Okay, thank you. Can see that we're all attentive. One of the speakers spoke on the topic, this is the WWE square. What does the acronym WWE square stand for? WWE square.
Yes. Wonderful.
Okay.
Exotic and expensive.
Exotic and expensive, exactly.
Exactly. Okay. And one last one. before I hand over the virtual lectern to the GE. The educational we had, the speaker spoke about the formula tell them. He mentioned about 3 things you do under tell them. Can someone help to remind us what are the 3 things you do under tell them in preparing for your speech?
Tell them what you want to tell them.
Okay.
Tell them, and then tell them what you told them.
Fantastic. I can see that Toastmaster Oghoin-olem was very attentive throughout the meeting.
Yes,
very wonderful meeting. I enjoyed myself. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly, our listening evaluator and our counter, for that very brilliant and succinct report. So right about now, we will have our timer give us a report of how we are fared with time in this LIMPID meeting. Toastmaster essay.
Thank you, GE. For our manual speech, Toastmaster Grace used 6 minutes, 28 seconds. Toastmaster Olem used 7 minutes, 24 seconds. They both qualified. For our table topics, Toastmaster Francis used 2 minutes, 28 seconds. Toastmaster Joy used 1 minute, 23 seconds. Toastmaster Fumi used 2 minutes, 9 seconds. Toastmaster Ngozi used 4 minutes, 48 seconds. For the evaluation, Toastmaster Joy used 4 minutes, 12 seconds. Toastmaster Essay used 3 minutes, 8 seconds. For the table topics evaluation, Toastmaster Essay used 5 minutes, 10 seconds. For the training session, Toastmaster Uche used 15 minutes, 2 seconds. While for the counter report, Toastmaster Emmanuel used 3 minutes, 30 seconds, and Toastmaster Essay has used 1 minute, 2 seconds. Thank you, and back to you, GE.
This is an amazing timer. I have never seen a timer like this. Super limpid. Great job, Toastmaster Essay. Well done. So right about now, we will invite our grammarian to tell us how well we have used the word of the day in this LIMPID meeting. It's back to you, our LIMPID grammarian.
Thank you very much, TM. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much, TM Josephine, for that wonderful reintroduction. This meeting has been so awesome. We have used the word of the day a lot. We have a total of 17 times that the word was used. TM Tari used the word of the day 2 times. TM Josephine used the word of the day 4 times. TM Mufti used the word of the day 4 times. TM Uche 2 times. TM Ikuchi 2 times. TM Grace 2 times. TM Olem 2 times. And as far as grammar goes, we were all spot on with our grammar. Well done, Toastmasters. That's it for my report. Over to you, Madam GE.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Toastmaster Angelica, for that very limpy and succinct report. Spot on. Thank you so much. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's right about time that I'll give my report of how well we have done at today's meeting. First of all, the meeting room was opened quite on time because I was here at 4 p.m. and I saw few people on the call, which is very, very commendable. Because when meeting rooms are open on time, for me, playing a role, it gives me ample time to relax, to see the people I'm going to be talking with today. So it is very important that we try as much as possible to come on time, to have some gist, and to relax so that we have a very limpid meeting. The meeting kicked off at exact 4:15, which was the exact time the meeting also has started. That is very, very commendable. Our Toastmaster of the day was very limpid. the transition of the meeting from one aspect of the other was very, very seamless. You handled your role like a pro. Well done. Please keep it up. Then the role players, they came prepared. Each of you understood your role. You explained it to us, and we understood all your role, what your role was all about. That was very, very brilliant. Well done. Our speakers for today, for the educational segment, you all came prepared. The two speakers are trainers. They came prepared. I loved the tone of their voice. That was what stood out for me. Very, very limpid. Keep it up. Keep speaking. I would love to be hearing more of your speeches. Well done. And I also learned a lot during the training. That was very brilliant. Nuggets of how to organize our speeches. Like I said, I have issues with arranging. I have so many things to write. But today I've learned how I will put all of this in perspective just so I give a very limpid speech. Then the table topic master. Well done. Despite the fact that you had network glitches, you pulled it up. You pulled it up. Well done. But what would I have loved you to do? Next time, come early so that you could test your devices to see how well the network you're about to use, whether it is good enough or you need to change it. Well done. But in all, you pulled it up. I like the fact that you use randomization to actually cause curiosity in the minds of the speakers. Well done. And our speakers, it's as if all of you know the questions that we will get today. You actually came, you showed bravery, and as it's always said, fortune favors the brave. Now for the evaluators, you did fantastic job. Your evaluations were very, very positive and constructive, and it will actually help us moving forward, giving our next speeches. Well done. In all, I will say that the meeting was very living, very insightful, very peaceful. I totally enjoyed myself, and I hope that you all enjoyed yourself. Thank you, Pecten Toastmasters, for this opportunity to serve as the general evaluator. It has been a delight. Like they said, the only room there is a room for improvement. I am looking forward to Pecten Toastmasters Club topping this chart. And it's back to you, the LIMPID Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for our wonderful lady in red who has done this evaluation so well.
Well done.
Well done, madam. It's been a pleasure having you. Now, as we gradually begin to get into the last part of the last part, I'm going to be calling our dear Madam Tari, TM Ditari. I'll be calling on you to come to the vector lectern.
Thank you.
Or the next. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. And thank you everyone who has enjoyed this meeting. I almost want to copy now and say, please, if you know you've loved this meeting, I don't want to say yekpa. So let's stick to our team. Please put peace in the chat box if you know you've enjoyed this meeting, because that's the message you are sharing. If you know you've loved the meeting from all our role players, thank you to everyone who has actively participated, our speakers, our red leader, exactly, for those who were sharing their opinions in the chat box, those who were actively listening. Peace, thank you, Toastmaster Anu, thank you, Toastmaster Josephine. Peace times 1 million. Thank you, Toastmaster Joy. Thank you, Toastmaster Olem. Thank you, everyone who has attended this meeting. I want to crave your indulgence for just another 5 minutes for us to complete the remaining parts of our agenda. I will now be calling on Toastmaster Uche to help us in welcoming our new members officially. Toastmaster Uche, the lectern is yours.
Thank you so kindly, the Vice President representing the President of Pecten Toastmasters, Toastmaster S.A. Okerika. Fantastic, so we can see the screen. It is a custom of Toastmasters International to induct welcome newcomers to their club or to the club in general. Toastmasters International is a global organization that has been in existence for more than 100 years. Today, Toastmaster Mufti Iboy, Toastmaster Chioma Okeje, and Toastmaster Biodun Denkoru will be inducted into the sacred and elite club of Pecten Toastmasters Club. This is an auspicious occasion, and I think you should be proud of it. We'll be doing something very simple and symbolic. They will be reciting some things that you'll be seeing on the screen. And after reciting this, please don't just say it as lip service. Make sure it sinks into your heart and you live by this as a Pectenite. And this is what we call ourselves. So we ask our new members to dedicate themselves to personal growth, to share these great gifts with your fellow members, and to help keep the Pecten Toastmasters Club and Toastmasters in general strong and dynamic. Because we are in a virtual meeting, our Toastmasters, our new Toastmasters will not be able to face the other Toastmasters. But if you can, please just open up your videos so we can take a look at you and affirm your membership to Pecten Toastmasters by repeating the following words. Please come off mute, and I would like to see your videos. I can see Toastmaster Mufti. Can I see Toastmaster Chioma and Toastmaster Abiodun? Fantastic. I can see all of them. So repeat after me. I, then say your name. I, then say your name.
I,
in the presence of my fellow members.
In the presence of my fellow members.
In the presence of my fellow members.
Of the Pecten Toastmasters Club.
The Pecten Toastmasters Club.
Of the Pecten Toastmasters Club.
Make this firm obligation.
Make this firm
obligation.
To attend meetings regularly.
To attend
meetings regularly.
And prepare fully for each assignment.
And prepare fully
for each assignment.
To apply myself to the projects outlined in the Toastmasters education program.
To apply myself to
the projects outlined in the Toastmasters education program.
To participate actively in club activities.
To participate actively in club activities.
To evaluate others in a positive, constructive manner.
To evaluate others in a positive, constructive manner.
To build open, friendly relationships with my fellow members.
To build open, friendly relationships with my fellow members.
And to bring other members into the clubs.
And to bring
other new members into the club.
So that they can also gain the benefits of Toastmasters.
So that they can also gain the benefits of Toastmasters.
Great, fantastic. I would like you to reflect on the words that you have spoken, because they are binding in your heart. And as much as possible, we believe that God will help you to achieve these things that you have said. Now, all the club members will please, in their seats, repeat these words, but please be muted. I'll read them and just repeat in your hearts. We, the members of Pecten Toastmasters Club, pledge to support you in your quest for self-development, to provide you with positive, helpful evaluations, to maintain a friendly, supportive atmosphere, to give you opportunities to help others, and to make your Toastmasters membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience. You can just add there, so help me God. I was looking at Toastmaster Olem, and that she's been my cue to know if this has been recited fully, but this is the pledge from the members to you. They will be supporting you. I'll also use the opportunity to invite everyone who is on this meeting or in this meeting that hasn't registered as a club member of Pecten Toastmasters, that this is your opportunity to do so. Back to you, Toastmaster Essay, while our Toastmaster of the day is busy doing his engineer the things that engineers do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was our immediate past president. Please let's put our hands together for him. And thank you, Toastmaster Abiodun. I can see you looking very beautiful and snazzy. Welcome to Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Mufti, welcome to Toastmasters Club. Thank you, everyone, for participating in our induction. The meeting is almost over. I would just like to share our results for our best table topic speaker. And Toastmaster Ngozi had the highest vote as our better table topic speaker in today's session. Thank you, Toastmaster Ngozi, for expressing vulnerability. I'm going to use my right as the VP to say, even if she exceeded time, yes, she could be voted for. So Toastmaster Ngozi, may you keep being a light, not just to your own children, but to everyone. We know you're a light for us in Pecten and would always continue to love and admire you. Thank you to everyone who has participated in this meeting. To our guests, I know some have dropped off at the point where we're about 32 on the call. Toastmaster Kewe, Toastmaster Fumilayo, it's so good to see you. Thank you for joining in. Toastmaster Toba, Toastmaster David Dokun. Sammy is part of us in full because he's always here and always willing to participate. Thank you to everyone. Toastmaster Angelica, thank you for joining us and serving a role beautifully. I hope our meeting today was a limpid experience for you. Thank you to all our role players. Thank you to our IPP. Thank you to our speakers. We deeply appreciate everything you've done. Thank you to everyone who has participated. Let us all continue to plan to build our speaking skills, our communication skills. Remember, the theme is for love, so let us all continue to share love. And I would end or officially bring this meeting to a close with a fun tongue twister. Do we have anyone willing to participate in? I can see one face looking at me, so I think I'm going to call her already. You're smiling and looking at me. Toastmaster Abiodun, do you want to tell us or try say our tongue twister? It's there on the screen. It's just going to help us improve our diction. Is anyone willing to try?
I wish
Toastmaster
to watch my Irish
Fumilayo,
wristwatch.
I can see you too. Toastmaster Fumi, I want to hear a voice I've not heard. Toastmaster Fumilayo, would you like to do us the honors to read our tongue twister?
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, I wish to wash my eyes. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, we
yes,
can.
Toastmaster Fumilayo.
I wish to wash my Irish wristwatch.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Olem. I see you wanted to go. So let's hear you.
I wish to wash my Irish wristwatch.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to try multiple times and see where you might flutter?
I still want my tongue.
Well, thank you all so much. This has been Pecten Toastmasters meeting. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Please remember to keep sharing peace, be an instrument of peace, not a weapon. Thank you to everyone, all our role players, Toastmaster Emmanuel, our red leader, Toastmaster Josephine, Toastmaster Grace, and everyone. This meeting is officially closed. Thank you, everyone. Toastmaster Abiodun, I now see you. Even if the meeting is officially closed, Toastmaster David, we can still just use the rest of this meeting to network and communicate with each other. Thank you, all our guests and Toastmasters.
Thank you.